was created by a husband and wife.
It is 10:20. I've pressed the recording button, so this session should be recorded. So I'll hand it back over to our session moderator.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ann Gerwitz, and this is the second session in track 1, Proactive Service Management. And I would like to remind everyone that all attendees have been muted. The discussion is being recorded, and if you have questions, please leave your contact information and questions in the chat. So I would like to turn the mic over to Prachi Rahayu, who's the Technical Project Manager and Continuous Improvement Lead from the University of California, San Diego. Prachi?
Thank you, Anne. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen as we're talking through this. Can you please allow me to, I think it needs permissions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I stopped sharing. You should be able to share.
There you go. Thank you. Let's take a look at this. Are you all able to see my screen now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, Anne. And I'm really honored to be, amongst all of you all today. I attended some of the previous sessions that have already happened today, and it's such a great platform to learn and know more about, what some of the other colleagues in the industry across, different departments they are doing and improving continuous improvement, applying continuous improvement in real life every day. So thank you. Thanks for all of your inputs and everything that I learned today. A little bit about me. I'm Prachi, and I work as the Continuous Improvement Lead at the ITS department at UCSD. I'm also a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. Some of you might be familiar with the Lean Six Sigma methodology. We have been really fortunate to have great leadership support around, kind of building this culture of continuous improvement and Lean Six Sigma as a tool across the university. And so, we have now at this point, we have a good community, a strong community of continuous improvement going around the campus. And so, kind of having this role that's dedicated to continuous improvement is really exciting at this time at UCSD. I am also, I wear multiple hats. So as a part of my continuous improvement role at ITS, I also help with strategic management of, services that we manage at ITS, whether they're internal services or external services. And we'll talk a little bit more about it during the presentation. But that creates, a really good sort of foundation for continuous improvement to thrive and strategic service improvement to sustain and to grow and to be nurtured in that ecosystem. So I'm going to share a little bit about, our journey and what we have done to get to the place where we are today in the journey of putting, proactive service management in place. So our journey started around 3.5-4 years ago, and we stuck to the definitions that we learned from the ECAR paper, the Higher Education IT Services Catalog. And in that, journey of kind of putting together our IT service catalog, there were a few roles that really kind of stood out for us, and we stuck to those roles, or those roles really stand out for us, and take a lot of ownership and responsibility in making sure that we are managing our service management kind of strategically. And in that process, we identified 12 service groups. So we have overall 12 service groups. What you see on the screen is a snapshot of how we have our IT catalog situated on our support portal. So, there is support.ucsd.edu, which is a generic portal, and that allows you to, that's the gateway to enter the IT service portal. And that's where you'll see the 12 service groups. Within those service groups, we have about 85 services and 263 offerings. 263 offerings is a lot, and we're working on kind of optimizing them, making sure that we have the right mix, making sure that we have the right level of granularity. So we're working through that every day and kind of trying to continuously improve it. We also have 71 internal offerings, which means that these are sort of underpinning offerings that support the IT sort of foundation. An example of that would be the continuous improvement service that I support, which allows us to support all of the other services, provide them frameworks, guidelines, templates, and support in order to continuously improve their service. Another example would be a project management service that helps IT to conduct the services that they want to conduct for the campus. So those are some of our internal services. Some of the roles that we really embrace are, or roles, or I'd say some of the words that kind of stand out for us and we really embrace are service offerings, service owner, and offering manager. And those kind of 4 words give us a really strong foundation to proactive service management. You'll also see a role in our organization, that's kind of business relationship manager. But for us, this role is more of a team is kind of embracing this role as opposed to one person. So that's the CIO, our senior management team. The senior management team is, or we refer to them as SMT. So, that's what it means if you hear that word. It's a team of 8 individuals, and that's the 10,000-foot view of, making sure that there is the right level of relationships across the campus with the campus executives, and each one of these 8 people are responsible for large IT areas. So that's kind of the highest level view at which service management kind of develops. And then we have the service owner. These people are really special and sort of those superhumans that manage all of our, or are accountable for all of our services. We have 37 service owners. So as you can see from that number, there are service owners out there that are probably managing or owning more than one service. They're responsible for their service. They're typically a manager or a director level, and their focus is more strategic. So they are more. They're not necessarily the ones that are conducting the day-to-day, but they are the ones that are making sure that the strategy for the service is right and adjusting that as needed. And then they're also responsible for continuously improving their service. And then we have the role of the offering manager, and that's where the day-to-day operational work happens. They are the technology expert, they are the liaison, they're with the campus or whoever the requester of the service is. If there are any incidents or problems around that service, that's where it kind of sits to be resolved. We make sure that if there's no one in our organization, everything's a service, and everything that we offer to the campus is an offering. So we make sure that if someone says, "Oh, but I manage this process," or "I manage this product," we're like, no, it's a product, it's an offering, and let's see how this process fits into the service or a service offering. So, so that is really clear, and that's what we stick to. Service owner role is so important that we've created this thing called service owner checklist, and each service owner is leading or is accountable for delivering this checklist. It's actually woven into their performance appraisal system, and the continuous improvement service, which is a service that I support at IT. My job is to make sure that the service owners across ITS feel supported with being able to accomplish this checklist. We have, a community of practice where all the service owners and service offering managers, they meet. It's a place for them to develop relationships and also to learn from each other, to find out what other service owners are doing in order to solve certain type of problems that other service owners may be facing as well. So it's a community of practice where they kind of come together, nurture relationships, and learn from each other. All of the service owners are required to stick to this checklist, though, and there are 5 main components of this checklist. There's a service roadmap, which means they need to have a vision of what their service is currently doing and what it's going to do over the next 12 to 36 months. They need to have the list of their stakeholders, they review it quarterly, and kind of update it as needed. The second key element is communication, making sure that their nearest neighbors are communicated about their service, finding out the voice of customer, kind of being aware of what information is out there about their service. If someone is looking for their service, is it easily, are they able to easily find it? And then having a RACI matrix, which is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, which means that for their service, all the list of tasks or responsibilities that they have, it needs to be clearly defined, what the RACI for that list of tasks looks like, which means this is where the partnership, between different kind of services can start to get established, and it becomes a way to enhance and support the nearest neighbor communication. An example would be, my service, continuous improvement. I do support the service owners and, proactive service management, but the service desk that helps with incident management, that's not a part of, what is managed within my service, but I partner with them really closely. And some of the tasks that we have on the RACI are shared with that team as well. And so that this becomes a really good foundation for us to establish very clear communication about when my role kind of is, there is, what's the kind of separation point between where their support starts and my support ends. So it's really clear that way. Resource management, they're responsible for keeping track of their operational effort, they track their project efforts, and we try to have more clarity around what are projects versus what is operational effort. So anything that is required to keep the lights on falls under operation efforts. Anything that we're doing to improve what we have today, and that's more discretionary, falls under project efforts. Our goal is to reduce the amount of resources that we are spending on operational effort and increase the amount of resources that we're spending on project effort or efforts that are meant to continuously improve our services. Service optimization. This is another very important part of what service owners are responsible for. Every year they're required to perform at least 6 problem reviews, and problem reviews, the word sounds like they will do a review when they have a problem, but really it indicates anything that a service owner does in order to mitigate even a foreseeable problem, which means that this can be more proactive. Problem reviews can be more proactive, like, if they anticipate a problem, or if they see that there is an area where improvements can be made, all of that can fall under problem reviews. So this becomes a very important source of continuously improving the service, because every service owner is required to have at least 6 problem reviews, including 1 after action review. And typically we do after action reviews following a major incident. For example, if we have a major incident in a particular service, after that major incident has occurred, the service owner is then required to make sure that we collect data about the timeline of how that major incident was solved and take steps to mitigate that problem, and also making sure that the same problem doesn't occur in future. And so there is a report, we have a template out there that they can use, which is based on Lean Six Sigma methodology, but it really helps to document those action items and making sure that it doesn't or the possibility of it occurring in the future is reduced. We also have, we've kind of made sort of a celebratory moment out of these after action reviews every quarter. All the after action reviews that have happened during that quarter are presented to our CIO and the senior management staff, and the actions that come out of it are shared with those senior leaders, and it's really rewarding. It's looked at not as the effort is to not look at the major incidents that, oh my god, this failure has occurred. Instead, look at it as an accomplishment of what we achieved after that major incident occurred, in order to make sure that it doesn't the possibility of it happening in the future is reduced, and the actions that are taken towards that. And so we really celebrate that, that presentation or opportunity to present it to the leaders. And that makes all the difference, because with that mindset set, major incidents start becoming not imputive, but more opportunities for improvements. We also have the service owners track their metrics monthly, and they're required to have a continuous improvement plan. And this continuous improvement plan can comprise, it constitutes of these 6 problem reviews that they are required to do, as well as the after action reviews. So this continuous improvement plan is an opportunity for them to put a plan together in advance and think of problems proactively that they're going to solve this year. And then, learning plan is another key component for the service owner checklist, which means, a plan to make sure how they're going to continue to build their skills and competency. Passion inventory, which means tracking where the different team members have their passion and what we can do to support them in a way that they're able to use those passions in their daily job. And, consequently having a team learning plan, which is related to the skills and competency development, as well as the passion inventory. Here, we have kind of an example. I just wanted to kind of bring this screenshot to show an example of where the day-to-day operational incidents are managed. So here's an example of, for example, Canvas LMS. So, whoever is responsible for it, they'll be able to see all the cases and the information related to that incident, or all of the previous cases that have occurred in the portal that they have in ServiceNow, and they'll be able to take action on it. So all the incidents that we have, or all the tasks that are reported, they're all reported at the service offering level. And so that's why we are able to report on them and pull metrics on it and take action on it. So all of the cases are managed at the service offering level. Whenever a case is reported, or whenever an incident is reported, whoever is reporting it is required to choose a service offering associated with it. We also have dashboards and kind of metrics to show problem reviews that have occurred this year. And so all of this data is readily available at the fingertips of the the service owners and service offering managers, so that they can keep track of it. And it shows, so for example, when we are looking at this first bar over here, we see that the integration platform, this service offering, has 15 PRs, active PRs this year. Integration platform is actually an internal service. So internal service owners are also encouraged. It's not just that we're keeping the service offering checklist only the service owners that are responsible for the external services are accountable for it. No, everyone, all the service owners or service offering managers that we have are accountable for meeting their service owners checklist deliverables.
So, and Prachi, we are at our time limit, but please finish up. And we do have one question for any tips for identifying and getting service owner commitment and engagement.
Great question. Yes, and thanks for the time reminder. This was actually my last slide anyway. So it just shows the form that folks can use to update their service from time to time if they need it, so that we can have the most updated status in Snow for the service offerings and services. And I'm going to come to the question now, the engagement from service owners. And like I kind of indicated previously, it's an approach that requires like communication at all different levels, including the community of practice that I mentioned before, where we encourage service owners to come together and share the tools and the tricks and tips that they have developed for their service and share that with others. We bring one topic every month for service owners to present what they've created for their own services, and then also for other service owners and service offering managers to ask questions about the problems that they may be coming across to other service owners, to peers. I think that is one of the strongest channels that we've developed that has helped peer communication. That has really helped. But other than that, having PRs, AARs, and then I mentioned making sure that we celebrate these events by sharing that with the senior management team, making sure that AARs, which is after action reviews after major incidents, as well as problem reviews, are not looked at as punitive, but more looked at as opportunities for improvements. So I think these are